All right, brother, we're live. Randy is in the hizzy.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
How are
Welcome
you?
to Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show, brother. Wanted to have you on the show for a minute now, and off camera, before we started talking, you said it's a crazy time, dude.
It is.
Dude, it's first is one thing after another. It's COVID, and then we have the protests, and it's just there's so many things going on. Just it's crazy. I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever. Have you ever seen it like this ever in your lifetime? I haven't.
not so much at one time.
Yeah,
You get bits and pieces here and there. I mean, we dealt with the riots back in what?
92.
Yeah, '92,
Yeah,
and that was a time, and I'm surprised it's taken this long for it to come back around, and people start recognizing. But for all that I care about, and those that I care about, Black Lives Matter.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy, man. It's just COVID. It's been a big. We see it in the movies. We've seen that kind of situation in movies for the last 10 to 15 years. And it's always been a scary thing from a distance. Like, oh my God, that's crazy, a pandemic.
Oh,
Uh,
dude! But if you
you know,
watch Contagion,
yeah,
oh my God,
yeah,
that was a
yeah,
little too real.
dude, it's crazy. I
Yeah,
watched it. I watched it again, and then Alex couldn't watch it. She's like, I can't watch that. I can't watch that. I'm not watching that. And I
yeah,
watched the whole thing, and it was just so freaky.
it
It's
is.
it's
It is.
and it's based on SARS, which is there's a similarities with SARS with what's happening now, but
Now
it's yeah,
we saw the playbook back then, and it was already in place. So
yeah,
interesting that the playbook's still the same, yet nobody's really paying much attention to it.
yeah. It's crazy, dude. How's COVID affected your job, dude?
Well, it's allowed me to work from home, and knock on wood, I'm
Yeah.
happy to have a job. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy to be able to do my job remotely. But it's funny. I'm actually busier now working from home than I have been at work. I seem to work longer hours. Instead of waking up, taking a shower, and doing my commute in, I
Right.
literally just get up, start work, and the lines blur.
Right.
It might be morning, afternoon, evening, late night. I still seem to be just like sitting down at the desk and doing some work.
Wow. And you're in the IT related field, security, right? Or
I'm
somewhere
a
in
software
there?
network engineer.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's funny how some industries have been taking a hit, like service. It's like, oh my God, my heart goes out to the people in the service industry.
Telling you,
Uh, yeah. Like
they're about
I'm.
to get hit again. They're about to close all the bars, and right after the bars, it's going to be the
It's
restaurants,
gonna be the
and
restaurants. Yeah.
and then they're going to start locking stuff down again. The restaurants
Yeah.
going to start closing up, and I'm still questionable about the gyms.
Yeah.
For those that go to gym, be careful. I just read about something where like 20 people got infected from a Planet Fitness back east.
What? Oh, I've been wanting to go to the gym so bad. I can't. I just can't do it. I can't.
No, too
Uh,
close.
yeah, it's too close. I'd rather just do push-ups, and I got a treadmill at the house, do some cardio. There's no way. It's
Go
too
for a
soon.
run. Go do
Yeah,
something outside.
yeah, right.
Be a kid again.
Exactly. It's like go ride your bike outside, go run. It's just
That's it.
it's then you have half of the country that believes in it. Other don't believe in it. Some believe you should have a mask. Others don't believe you should have a mask. Is it a real virus? Is it not a real virus? It's just it's everything is being politicized now, which is sad. I know for a fact it's a real virus. I've had friends. My good friend's father passed away from it. And he had underlying conditions, but it's horrific.
Right,
You
right.
know,
And I know people that have had it, and thankfully nobody that's died from it. But
right?
I have friends that are in healthcare, and they see it and deal with it every day, and it's definitely real.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
definitely being affected by it. I'm not sure why people still think it's not. I mean, I don't quite get that. And the whole thing about not wearing a mask.
Right.
I wear a mask to keep everyone else safe, not me. I'd appreciate it if everyone else did the same. I mean, geez, a couple of months of wearing a mask over, the ability to save some lives.
Agreed.
Really, really not that much to ask, even for the short time. You don't have to wear it in your car. You don't have to wear it at home. But you go into a grocery store, you go to a restaurant, you're around other people. At least wear it. Not that big of a deal.
It's not. It's not at all. It's just where for the next few months. Even if we are in this for the next 3 to 5 months, or even 6 months. What's 6 months? I mean,
Right.
it's really nothing in a lifetime.
Exactly.
It really isn't. It's just people are freaked out because they're cooped up. Like, I understand businesses need to open, or it's their livelihood. So my heart goes out to them because they really want to keep those businesses open. And nightclubs, oh my God, I can't even imagine anyone that owns a nightclub or a bar. Oh,
Well, it's already started. I mean, look,
mm,
that's out of the bag. People are already starting to open things up. We're seeing house parties. We're
yeah,
seeing pool parties. We're
yeah,
seeing, slowly but surely, clubs are starting to open. Nothing specifically salsa quite yet, but I saw an event open at Quiet Cannon
yeah,
out in Covina
right.
that I was a little surprised about. And we've seen other loose outdoor events going on, which look, I'm all good with if you wear a mask and you do some safe social distancing. You're all good. I happen to be one of the lucky people that I've been quarantining, with my girlfriend, and we have each other to dance with, and I totally feel bad. I wonder what my belief would be like if I didn't have somebody to dance with and I'm just jonesing completely.
Damn, that's a good point.
All the, I totally get the want, the desire. I so want to go out and, salsa for me is not just the dance, but it's a social aspect. I've got friends and people I call family that, I don't get a chance to see the same way.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, look, I got to see you over this.
right.
I'd
Yeah.
much rather be sitting outdoors at Tito's having tacos.
Oh, Tito's tacos.
Anyway,
Oh,
that's a whole different subject.
yeah. You see, you almost made me cry there. That's how funny that was. Jesus. Woo! No, that's a whole different subject. But yeah, dude, I would love to. One of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the show is to hear your story as far as how you got into salsa. For a lot of viewers that don't know, you were one of the original, at least the one of the original people that used to compete. There was a select group of people. It wasn't that many people. Maybe there was maybe 20 to 30, and at that time there was no bachata. There was merengue, but it was mostly salsa. And I remember I met you at Sportsman's. And the person that introduced me to you was Ricky Lamoli.
Yep.
And years ago, and I've seen you compete. I think I even have a couple of recordings of you competing back in those days. And I just wanted to hear your story. How did you get into salsa dancing, and who got you into it? And tell us your story,
Well,
brother.
I kind of got myself into it. I got very bored with regular clubs.
Okay.
I was tired of, walking up to a group of girls, hey, you want to dance? And they'd be like, okay, fine, walk away. But I just wanted to dance with somebody, and I got introduced to it somehow just on the fly, and it was probably another 6 months before I finally decided, okay, you know what, on a Sunday afternoon, I decided to go to the Boathouse on Santa Monica,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I figured I was going to walk in there, do a little salsa dancing, meet a little Latina girl, and I was just
Right.
it was going to be all about it.
Right.
And I remember paying my $5 at the door and walking downstairs, and
Hmm.
I did a lap around the place. So they still danced outside in the patio. And I remember sitting down at a table next to the dance floor, and I didn't get up for 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours. I was so intimidated
Wow.
because I was looking around. And I'm like, I can't do that, and I can't do that. And I don't know how to do that.
Right.
Don't know how these guys are doing it, but
Right.
oh my God, And then the one such vivid memory I have is of this one guy, the most fugly guy I think I've ever seen.
Okay.
And, and I was thinking, oh, this guy at a regular club, would do worse than me.
Right. Right.
And I remember watching him approach the hottest girl in the place. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be just bad and ugly.
It's a disaster.
And she didn't even hesitate. She said, absolutely yes. They got up, they danced, they had a good time. And then the light bulb just ding, clicked on in my head. And I'm like, damn, if he can do it, so can I.
Right.
And
Right.
it was 2 days later, I went to my first lesson at St. Mark's in Venice,
Cool.
which is just like 3-4 blocks from me. I walked down there and took the lesson from William Ochoa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right,
Old school.
old school.
Yeah.
This was one of Albert Torres's first places
Okay.
that he promoted
Hmm.
Tuesday nights, and I did my lesson. I think I stayed about 15 minutes after the lesson and took off, but I was back again the next week, and then back again the next week after that, and I don't think I missed a Tuesday night for like 9 months.
Wow.
And I took my lessons. The cool thing is, he would teach the basics in the beginning, and then he'd teach a different pattern.
Right.
2 weeks, 2 patterns. 4 weeks, 4 patterns. Then I started seeing him intermingle pieces of this pattern with this pattern, and it was about 9 months before things started to kind of really click.
Nice.
Took a private lesson here and there, and that's when things got started. Got introduced to
Cool.
Albert, started getting involved in the scene, and
Right.
it just never looked back after that.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. And how long into it did you say to yourself, you know what, I want to compete. I want to get out there and find a partner and compete. So a year into it, a couple of years into it?
It was probably a year in.
Okay.
It was
Cool.
probably a year in. I think my first competition was two years in or so.
Okay.
Still very much an amateur.
Yeah.
In fact, I look back on my first competition was at the very first LA Salsa Congress.
No way.
As an amateur, with Tito Puente sitting in the front row as a judge.
What?
Yeah. And I was so excited to have made the finals, and I was so disappointed when we weren't called in the top three. Because I thought we did so well. And it's funny because I look back on that video and I'm like, oh, now I know why we weren't in the top three. Because we were pretty amateur.
Yeah.
And there were people that were much better than us. Yeah.
Oh, so that's interesting to kind of look back at it. And at the time, you're like, hey, we were really good. How come we didn't place? But looking back, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, dude.
I would have pulled my younger self aside and said, all right, look, this is what's up. And it was a humbling experience, and
cool.
I was lucky enough to have people in my life that took me under their wings, that that taught me the right way.
Yeah.
Taught me about competitions, taught me about dancing, taught me about timing, taught me about respect.
Ooh,
Respect of
that's a big one. I like that.
yeah,
I
respect
like
of
that.
the music, respect of the dance, respect of the women around you,
Mm,
and for your fellow competitors,
right.
for the musicians. This is there was a lot there,
Yeah.
and a lot of people step in very short-sighted with salsa,
Yeah.
which is probably why it is a very large attrition rate. There seems to be a big churn, but you know, the people in the salsa world are so cool, and they're some of the nicest, friendliest, most professional people you'll ever meet. Um,
Oh,
but you give respect, you get respect.
right. Agreed. That's really profound. It's all true. It's all freaking true, man. And how many years did you compete? Was there a good number of years where you were out there? And of course, you competed in Sportsman's, the Mayan, and at that time there was different clubs and venues that had different competitions all around LA.
Right, right.
So
You have the smaller venues,
right.
the giggles in
Oh
Glendale,
shit! Right.
and
On brand.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Right.
I remember competing there. You'd have salsa festival competitions. But then you had the kind of granddaddies, which were the Sportsman's Lodge and the Mayan.
Right. Right.
And those are the ones. There were two very different competitions.
Right.
Sportsman's was known for timing and technical.
Right. Right.
Timing was half your score. If you were off time, then you would not win. You definitely would not win, and that's why not a lot, but there were a few very high-profile dancers that were very good, but their
Right.
timing was just a little off. Versus the Mayan, which I'll say it, for a white guy, the Mayan can be very intimidating because
Right.
that's like at that time that was like the church.
It was. Yeah.
Sportsman's was, but from a competition standpoint, it was the Super Bowl of salsa competitions.
It was. It really was for a good number of years. That's true.
Oh yeah, and every round was different because the qualifying rounds were crowd judged.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
you didn't have anybody technical sitting there critiquing you. It was what can you give to the crowd. So, I remember that the qualifying rounds were all about tricks,
Oh, right. Right.
flashy footwork,
Right.
and if you could throw sex into it, yes,
Oh, it gave you extra points or whatever.
exactly. You do something in there, and you get the crowd behind you, and you're in.
Right.
Once you got past that, then you started dealing with the judges, and then it was tough because you'd have both technical judges
Mm.
as well as celebrity non-dancer judges.
Right. Who are some of the celebrity non-dancers? I don't remember.
Oh, it could have been television or
Right. Okay.
song or whatever, but that's where you get torn because the celebrity non-dancers don't care about timing. They don't
Right.
care about how clean you are.
They want
but
the
they care
flash.
about how cool that trick was,
Right.
or how flashy it was.
Right.
And so it was a fine line of trying to find the right place with your routine. And back then the routines were were all about themes. Some of my
It's true, and that's what I enjoyed. I'll be honest with you, man. That's what I miss.
I do too, and I
Yeah.
wish people would come because it was entertaining. It was a story to
Yes.
follow.
Yes. And it told a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
so powerful. You
Oh
know?
yeah, Ronnie and Denora with their Matrix routine, or Jesus Vargas and the Mexican,
Oh, right. Right. Right.
and the Mexican too.
Right.
You had, you know, Alex De Silva and his
Right.
Mission Impossible routine with Liz Lira
Right.
way, way, way back when.
Yeah.
These are just completely classic routines that, if you go back and watch, they, to today's standards, they may not be all that technical,
But the creativity
but the
of it
creativity,
is better than the creativity that you have now.
right. And I can only imagine if people would just take into account and put a theme against something, with all the Disney movies and all the Marvel stuff going on, and, and all the technical ability that people have nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
That could be really cool.
Agreed. Agreed. That's one thing I've noticed. It's just today the combinations, the footwork, the style is just it's so more clean. It's just so beautiful. It's so hard. However, there lacks a little bit of that creativity in telling the story of what's happening. You know, but not to take away from all the hard work all these dancers are doing because it's amazing. Like
Right.
I can't do it to save my life. So, but when I look back and compare those, it'd be nice to add more of a story element to it.
I think that at least it may not be from a competition standpoint these
Right.
days, but
Right. Good point.
from a performance standpoint, because competition's gone to a totally different level. I mean,
Right. Right.
just a complete different level than what it used to be.
Right.
Progression
Yeah, it's crazy.
is amazing. It really is. I have a lot of respect for the people that are leading the charge nowadays. There's LA style isn't LA style anymore. I mean, there's still LA style,
Right.
but I think today's LA is more of a fusion.
Right.
It's more of a fusion where you've got little pieces of LA style still in there, but the technical of a New York style,
Right.
with timing of an on two.
Right.
I think it's become a little more classy.
Right.
Do I miss the tricks? Sure.
Right.
Do I miss the big performance side of it? Yes. Is there
Yeah.
a place for it still? Absolutely.
Right.
Will we ever get back there? I hope so.
Right. Yeah. Usually things go back to where they usually go back. Like we went back to the '80s music, and things kind of circle back. It seems like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Usually about a 30-year circle.
oh damn, we got a long way to go then. that's that's so cool, dude. That's awesome, man. It's to see that progression, man. And what do you how do you feel of just the dancing today? Because at one point where you were out there and dancing a lot and performing, it seems like LA was the mecca of the world. It really was. And for those that don't know that, for a lot of people now getting into it, or the ones that may have the opinion that the mecca is maybe in Europe or in Italy, the mecca was in LA for a few years.
For many years.
Yeah, and it almost, in my opinion, I felt like LA was the beginning. Of course, you have New York, respect. That certain dance style of dancing on one, it kind of exploded and it came out of LA. And also with some of the amazing dancers in New York, also between those two cities, it kind of just spread throughout the world. And
Yeah. I mean, that came from the LA dancers. It came from an LA promoter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Albert Torres had probably one of the single biggest impacts on salsa worldwide.
Agreed.
You know, he was like Apple. You know, he may not be the first to do it,
Right.
but man, did he take it, repackage it, and made it better.
Agreed.
And
And
from
and
LA Salsa Congress,
yeah.
you know, I mean, I remember the first Congress. I remember sitting with Albert at Kinko's, putting together the first flyers
Wow.
at the LA Salsa Congress because I worked with Albert behind the scenes.
Right.
And you know, the whole prep for it, but then the progression where, you know, what was it, 2006, 2007,
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Park Casino, the big tents out in the parking lot,
Right.
10,000 dancers from all over the world.
Amazing.
You know, respect to Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican Salsa Congress,
Right.
respect to New York and what they've got going on.
Right. Right.
The LA Congress, you know, with the level of musicians that they brought in,
Mm-hmm.
with the level of dancers, you know, that was the most amazing time to be a part of salsa.
Right. Agreed.
And and I miss that as well because every year it would push things a little further. You know, it would push the dancers a little more, and it opened everybody's eyes up to more of an international level of dancing. You know, we were now seeing dancers from Japan. We were seeing dancers from Hong Kong. We were seeing them from Europe. We were seeing them from everywhere. And, you know, that's when things just started to connect up.
Right.
You know, that was definitely the time, you know. So thank you to Albert. And thank you, you know, for all that you did at that time for salsa.
Absolutely. And Albert is just, to touch on Albert, he really gave his life to salsa. This is all he did. He had so much passion. This is all he put everything. He dedicated his life to it. And whether, you know, there's people out there, they'll say, I never liked Albert, or I love Albert. Regardless whether you didn't like him or you loved him, you can't deny his contribution. And his contribution, as you said, it's the biggest that anyone has ever done in the history of salsa throughout the world.
Agreed. I mean, you know, minus the musicians, minus the dancers that pushed it.
Right.
You know, he opened doors. You know, there's a lot of dancers, there's a lot of musicians that would never have been seen or heard if it wasn't for Albert opening a door for them.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, that's to me, like you said, probably the single biggest impact to salsa today is everything that occurred way back when. And you absolutely have to give him that much respect for what he did, what he accomplished,
Absolutely,
and what he did for others.
And he did so much, not just for dancers, for musicians, for singers, for other promoters, where, you know, there's a lot of promoters in today that are very successful in their own right. Absolutely. So hats off to them. Hard work, right? However, you had this guy that was he just was the person that was doing events, and the inspiration that he gave so many people. You know, I know there's got to be tons of promoters that said to themselves, man, Albert's doing these big events. I want to do a big event.
Right.
He's inspired me to do a big event, you know?
Yeah. That's only opened up more. I mean, it opened the community up that much more.
Agreed.
Now, granted, I do think there's a slight downside to that because, back in the day, Friday nights was Sportsman's Lodge.
Right.
Sundays were the Boathouse. There were specific places you would go,
Thursdays, Mama Juana's.
and everybody would go there.
Yep, that was a spot. Right.
I mean, that was the spot. You'd see the
Yep.
same people. The community was a real tight-knit
Yeah.
community.
Right.
You would never see another promoter doing something on a Friday night somewhere. That was just unheard of. I think that some of the promoters today are a little unscrupulous to the point where it divides the community. Instead of working together,
Right.
on the west side here many years ago, there was a spot on Tuesday nights that everybody would go to.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, a promoter decided to open up a place 2 blocks away.
Oh.
Same night.
Oh, that's not cool.
No. And unfortunately, it was the downside of the original place. It lasted, for a little while.
Right.
But I never did respect the second promoter the same way.
Right.
And I think all I was told was, well, that's the only night they had available, and I really wanted to do a night there.
That's
not a good enough excuse.
That's not a good excuse. No, not at all.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, does it grow? Yes. Does it divide? Somewhat. I mean, now it's rare to see somebody in LA go to an OC club or an OC dancer. Why drive 45 minutes or an hour if you could just go 10 minutes away and do your thing?
Right.
Which is why I like the bigger events, the congresses, the festivals.
Right.
Because that brings everybody together.
Right. That's true. And then you had the rise of bachata, which slowly crept into the scene. So that seems to be an even bigger scene now in LA.
Well, yeah, because it's more mainstream. You actually hear bachata on the radio.
True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You don't. It's so rare to hear salsa on the radio.
Right. That's true.
People don't connect to it the same, but for some reason, you do a remix of a popular English
poppy song, or right.
And all of a sudden, I want to do that. I can 2-step sideways.
Yeah, right. That's true. Oh, that's a good point, dude.
And that just kind of opens it up. And it's funny because there are a lot of old school salsa veterans who will tell you the only reason people bachata is because they're not good at salsa.
I've heard that before many times. No, but hey, bachata is a genre in its own right, and I've seen some amazing bachata dancers in groups. So, there was a group, I forgot their name in Vegas. When I went to the Vegas Congress, there was a girl group that did a bachata routine. I don't know where I don't know if they were from Mexico maybe, but they were freaking amazing. That was the one group that blew me away out of any other group. So there's some amazing dancers out there, but for a lot of people, that there is some truth to that statement that for some people, salsa is a little too hard to learn the moves as opposed to bachata.
Well, I gotta tell you, as a long-term salsa dancer, I was a holdout for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, they're playing a bachata, I'm going to go sit down.
Right.
Oh, it's too close. Oh, they're just rubbing on each other.
Right.
The original, beliefs that, it's not, because once it grew into me a little bit,
right.
I started to appreciate, and it took me appreciating the music,
right,
before I could appreciate the dance.
Cool.
So once I started listening to music and appreciating it a little more, it okay, I'll try. Bachata is actually not as easy as everybody thinks it is.
Right. Right.
You know, there's a lot of, there's a lot to it.
A lot of rhythm and a lot of it's. I've seen some moves that I'm like, Jesus Christ, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
Exactly. And my girlfriend's huge into bachata.
Yeah.
She loves it. So of course, so do I. So I've had to learn, and it's been a little uncomfortable at times, but
You learn to love it.
you learn to love it. You do.
Or is love a too strong of a word?
No, again, in order to appreciate the dance, you have to appreciate the music.
Right, right.
Because you'll never like the dance, you'll never appreciate the dance, you'll never respect the dance.
Right.
If you can't do all of that with the music.
Right, right.
A lot of times,
Well,
I was taken to a salsa concert long time ago, and there was no dancing. It was a sit down.
Oh, that's torture.
And it was absolute
hell.
I got. Well, we could just go over here, or we could go over in the corner over there.
Let's go by the bathroom.
Whatever.
Right, right.
But I look back on that now. I can sit and I can now appreciate a band and what they do and how they do it without having to dance. Although I would still love to be able to dance.
Yeah. Right, right.
But you gotta love the dance. You gotta love the music.
Gotta love the dance. You gotta appreciate the music. Yeah. Agreed.
That's where it all comes from.
Man, dude. So I have a question. Take us back to that, because you were, for a good period of time, there was a situation that happened in my end that you became known for a good amount of time. And
what did I do?
It was the performance that you had with your partner, and something happened. Someone hurt themselves?
Wait, me?
No. Was it your partner? Somebody hurt themselves? Or
oh wait,
remember?
No. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. So yeah,
I saw a video a long time ago.
Well,
was that the Mayan or was it somewhere else?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to as far as somebody getting hurt during
an ankle or something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so in the middle of competition, this was 2001.
Right.
My partner and I, Faith Ernest, we were middle of our first professional level competitions. We were competing as semi-pros at Sportsman's, and we were competing in our first professional competition at the Mayan.
Right.
Because there was no semi-pro. There was either amateur or pro.
Right.
And even though we didn't teach and we didn't get paid to dance, and we were cleared to be able to dance amateur,
right,
knew the level of shit we would have gotten for competing as amateurs there.
Right.
We're like, you know what? Let's just get the respect and let's just go in and compete as pros. So we won Sportsman's Lodge on a Friday night.
Nice.
We took first place semi-pro.
Ooh, nice.
Following in the steps of Ricky and quite a few others in previous years. And we had the Mayan Pro Finals coming up 8 days later.
Right.
On that next Saturday. Yes, and we were, believe it or not, second place coming out of semifinals, going into finals
Whoa. Okay.
as pros. We were really surprised.
Right. Nice.
Um, and that was right behind Johnny Vasquez, Johnny
Nice.
and Carolina.
Yeah. Nice.
And on my way to work Thursday morning before the Saturday finals, as I crossed the street, I was hit by a truck. And
Oh.
that basically nearly took my right foot off.
Right.
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 I still remember doing that flippy thing in the air, that twisty. You've seen it in karate where they're rotating horizontally. Well, I
Yeah.
was rotating horizontally in the air, and I
Oh,
remember
jeez.
glancing down at my feet for some reason, and with my leg here, my foot was trailing way behind it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
it was an open compound dislocation of the right ankle.
Oh, shit.
Um, if it wasn't for my Achilles, I would have lost my foot that day. But my Achilles tendon stayed intact. But I've got a scar running from 9 o'clock to about 6 o'clock
Okay.
on my right ankle from the surgery I had, and from it. But
Wow.
it tore ligaments, not just tore, but it completely ripped them apart.
Oh.
Ligaments, tendons. There's a main artery that runs along the front of your leg and into your foot.
Mhm.
That snapped. The main nerve sheath that runs along the front, alongside that artery, stretched but didn't snap.
Oh, shit.
To this day, I still have kind of I don't have full feeling in the top of my foot.
Oh,
But
damn.
the ligaments and tendons that raise and lower your four toes was completely cut.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of nasty, and I was lucky not to bleed out. I had the wherewithal to ask somebody. I happened to be right next to some convenience store,
Hmm.
and they had one of those milk crates out.
Okay.
And I was like, grab the milk crate, and they put it under my leg. I can still remember they had to hold my foot and lift my leg to put it up on.
Oh, shit.
And then as
God.
it's
I
sitting up
can't,
on top, my
dude.
foot is
Oh,
laying to the side.
oh, I can't imagine the pain you were feeling, man.
Well, that's the thing.
You didn't feel no pain?
Between the adrenaline and everything else,
Right.
I
Okay.
I didn't feel it
Until after.
and it was way after surgery, because
Okay.
the moment I got wheeled into the emergency room, painkillers and whatever else,
Right.
but I still remember the ambulance ride over to the hospital. The two paramedics were talking to each other. They were tapping on my foot, and they were saying, "Do you feel this?" I'm like, yeah, I feel it.
Nothing.
I was lying to myself. I couldn't feel it.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, and I still remember. I'm like, look, you guys, do whatever the hell. I was laying in the street, leg propped up,
Oh.
firemen around me, paramedics. They're all working on me. They're cutting off my pants, because they got to get to what they need to get to.
Right.
Oh yeah, when mom says make sure to wear clean underwear.
It's important.
But I can remember saying, "Hey guys, I don't know what you got to do, but do whatever you got to do, because I've got a huge dance contest Saturday night. I have to be there for this."
Shit.
And they're like, Yeah, okay, buddy. We'll get right on that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then emergency room. Another, it was a 5-hour surgery where they had to
Damn.
reconnect all of my ligaments and tendons, and they did what they could, and the doctor did a great job. Here I am running marathons and
Yeah. Right.
doing all kinds of stuff. I came back the next year to compete, to the dismay of my lawyer, because my lawyer wanted me to sit on my ass and do nothing, and I felt like I had something to prove.
And you
So,
did, and you went out there and competed.
and I went out there and competed and came back and made it to the same pro finals the next year, and it was all good. But yeah, I mean, through the next, it was a short but long road,
Yeah.
because I spent 8 weeks in a wheelchair.
Oh, 8 weeks in a wheelchair?
Yeah, yeah, with my leg propped straight up out, because I'd had surgery, and it needed to heal, so it couldn't be left down. I always had to keep it elevated.
And then after the 8 weeks, you were on crutches
Then I was on crutches
for how long?
about another 6 weeks.
So 6 weeks. So it's four,
Oh, and then
eight.
again after that,
So about 14 weeks.
at
You
least,
did.
and then it was another good 4+ months with a cane.
So, but about 4 to 5 months where you really were on a wheelchair or you were on crutches, correct?
Yes,
4 to 5 months.
yes,
So 4 to 5 months, you went through that.
yes.
So people, a face mask isn't a big deal.
It's true.
It's not
It's
a big deal.
But then again, I had a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
I knew it was all on me to get myself back to where I wanted to be.
Right.
All I needed to see was a little bit of healing and the ability, to progress.
Right. Right.
And that's all I needed to light a fire under my butt. And, I was dancing in my wheelchair. I was actually at Albert's wedding in my wheelchair. there were pictures of me in my suit, and, I'm in a wheelchair, and,
Dancing
uh,
around, turning,
yeah,
doing the basic with one foot.
not even, no, because I was in a wheelchair.
Right.
But
I'm
then,
just kidding.
yeah, but no,
Right.
but then, when I got to crutches, I'd prop myself against a wall.
Okay.
I found I could partner dance with somebody,
Okay.
and, whatever else. And then I got my walking cast, and,
Nice.
I wasn't doing a lot. And then, God bless them, Enyo and Terrell,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which was, it was Let's Dance LA.
Right.
Let's Dance LA, yeah.
Right. Right.
And then went on to start the Granada.
The birth of Granada.
Yeah, they had a fundraiser for me.
Yeah.
And it was at that time I got introduced to those little doctor rolling stools.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Where I could actually put my knee on the stool,
And just roll.
and
Great.
and now I could do crossbody leads, and I could move around, and here, let me spin, and I could.
That's a great invention right there.
Exactly, and
Wow.
yeah, so that was an opening for that.
That's dude, man. That's awesome. I love the way that you made a comeback and came back and competed the following year after you went through therapy. That's good shit. Wow.
Yeah, and not to be cheesy, but we opened with LL Cool J's "Don't Call It a Comeback."
Nice. We've been here for years. That was a good one. Oh man, dude. So that you continue to compete, but and then there was a time where you decided to throw your own party, and it was very well known for 4th of July. You know where I'm going. We know we're going there. What made you want to throw that party?
Well, it's funny because
Why? Why did you say this? I want to throw a 4th of July party.
okay, well, what a lot of people don't know is that party started with long before I started salsa dancing.
Okay.
And it started with, because I come from a rollerblade background, not that you can
Yeah.
tell,
I could tell by that.
but
Yeah.
but I would have my rollerblade friends, my friends that skated over, all my professional friends, and what have you that skated. Yes, pro skaters, but they were all on inlines.
I mean, you're in Venice. Come on,
It
capital of skating.
and, it was barbecue. Go skate down, watch the fireworks,
Right.
skate back, have some drinks, hang out, do our thing. We did that for the first couple of years. And then I started including the Venice Beach skate dancing crew.
Okay.
So Terrell and Jimmy Rich and
right.
All the boys down there. Well,
Right.
As much skating as we did down there, we became friends. And so I opened the party up a little bit, and the party went from 7 people to 15 to 25, and then at one point it went to 75.
Right.
That's when I started bringing in the skate dancers, and was the first time I had a DJ. Barbecue. It was still the same thing, just more people. And that happened for the next couple of years that way.
Okay.
But then I got into salsa dancing. And
right.
as my interest in life grew with salsa dancing, I obviously wanted to include that into my parties. I'd invite people that I dance with and were friends with. Yeah, you gotta come to my party. And it went from 75 people to 125 people. Now I needed a second DJ because there was both hip hop and salsa.
Right.
And then a few more people, and now salsa was taking over. And now it was, 45 minutes of salsa and 5 minutes, 10 minutes of hip hop and 45 minutes, and it would just keep rolling.
Slow. Right.
And, then it just started. I seemed like I had to one up myself every year.
Right.
So, okay, how about if I get a band? I should get a band.
Right.
So I got a band.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 bands.
Right.
And, it went from a pony keg to a full keg to a couple of kegs. One barbecue turned into 3 barbecues.
Oh, shit.
And it just continued to grow. And the cool thing was, it was always a kind of a potluck style thing. I never charged. Actually, I charged 1 year, and I felt uncomfortable doing it.
Right.
Plus, it was hard to police, and I didn't really want to. Whole liability thing was different then.
Right.
So I stopped charging, and it was more of a donation thing.
Right.
But yeah, at its high point, at its big point, probably about 1,500 people.
Right.
4 bands. And these were the best bands in LA.
Right. Yeah. That was the peak.
Kino Espinosa.
Yeah.
Sotomayor. Lucky 7.
Yeah, I was there that night. I think I lost 8 pounds just walking through the middle of your backyard, just because of the amount of people that were dancing in the middle. I lost about 8 pounds. It was good.
But I never, ever had one fight.
That's right. That's true.
No problems.
That's true.
My neighbors, I had the best neighbors ever.
Yeah.
Not only would they let me have these parties, but they would all go. I'd make sure to walk the entire neighborhood 2 blocks in every direction.
Right.
And invite every one of my neighbors personally.
Nice.
And the majority of them came, and as time goes on, they would ask me, having a party again this year? We're really looking forward to it because, look, I live in a gentrified, Venice canals,
Right.
Area, so you got a lot of, you know, white people with attitudes.
Right. Right.
But to them, it was Latin jazz.
Right. Right. Latin jazz.
But if it
Classic.
wasn't for the fact the bands were so good, I can't tell you how many times a neighbor would come to me and say, I thought that was a CD. I thought that was a DJ playing something, but that's a live band.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're talking full orchestras, horns,
Yeah. Different sound.
percussion, singers, and you name it.
Yeah.
Then it helped that, most of my friends were all basically the best dancers in LA.
Right. Right.
So it was one of those, like, the dancers are amazing, the music is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much food. Everybody brought. I always told people, bring something for yourself and something for others to share.
Right.
And I couldn't have enough table space where stuff was stacked multiple levels high.
Right. Right.
Whether it be, and people would bring their favorite dishes. They'd make stuff. They'd mix stuff. They'd, of course, you get the people with, hey, I brought a bag of chips.
Right.
Which is cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But then people bring casseroles or desserts or,
right. There's a lot of food. I remember.
Yes.
So much food. So much good food.
Everybody ate. There was never a question of, is somebody going to go hungry? Everybody ate.
Right. Right.
So, and I think everybody at one point experienced the liquor luge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which nobody knows is a 4-foot ice block that's tilted up.
Yeah.
Grooves, carved into it.
Yeah.
And you take shots on somebody would pour.
Yeah.
And you take shots off the ice block.
Yeah.
It's funny because most of the time, a shot is that.
Yeah.
Except it was so easy to just sit at the top and go.
It's like 4 shots coming down
at one time, and then it's so cold you could take the nastiest tequila,
make it really good,
and it would chill all the way down that it would go in so smooth.
Yeah.
That you're like, woo, yeah, give me another one. Yeah, I remember one year I found somebody who was all about taking shots off the liquor luge. Yeah. Probably 4 or 5 of them like that.
Right.
I found him curled up in my kitchen sink. Passed out. It was pretty funny.
You want to name? You want to say who that was?
Nope.
The name will not be revealed.
But look,
that's hilarious.
I love hearing stories. Your party was mine and my wife's first date.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Wow, that's cool.
I met my wife at your party.
What? No fucking way.
Or my kid was conceived
in the garage of your house, in the back, behind the band. Randy, thank you. Wow, that's great, dude. Those are great stories to have from people's experiences from it, because it was a legendary event that it got to a point where every year people were looking forward to it until it stopped, and people still had that craving because nothing since then has ever been created the way your party was on a 4th of July. Yeah, you have different congresses and so forth, but that house party, it's just had an element with the live band, the music, the food, the love that people, the respect that people had for each other. It was my most memorable experience is just seeing so many people that I would see at the festivals, everyone hugging, everyone getting a drink, everyone getting some food, everyone dancing. And then you getting on the stage, and then Mauricio was on the stage at one point, Chino Espinosa. It's just, there's so many good memories from that. I haven't seen that at a house party since then,
Right.
so
And it's funny because you bring up something interesting. As I mentioned, things got divided with all the different promoting and all the
Mhm.
different. Now you've got Orange County people, you've got
Right,
Riverside people doing their thing, and you've
right.
got come to think of it, I think my party was one of the only events, other than maybe Congress, where everybody from all of those regions would all come together.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. If you think about it, it was one of the last events where you would see everybody from LA, Orange County, Inland Empire. It just from
Right.
all over the place at one location. So now today it's a little bit more sporadic because you have different promoters, different, like as you mentioned, you have it from different areas now. So it was the last true event. So it was cool.
Yeah,
Awesome, dude.
we'll have to have another one.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It'll get out of hand. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
I
do
need
it.
to I need to unify the
Don't do it. Do it.
community again.
You're trying to unify? No, 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 no. So there'll be a lot of people. Come on. I mean, there's
Actually, you know
there.
what? I actually really would like to unify
Yeah,
the because I feel like things are a little splintered these days, and everybody's going in so many different directions, and at least previously, it was a very clear lead, and the community was very clearly all going in the same direction.
yeah, right,
And I don't necessarily feel that. I think there's some opportunity for it to do so.
right,
I think there's some people uh, that are kind of stepping up and trying to do the right thing.
right.
Uh, I see some veterans stepping in. I see some new people stepping in. Um, personally, I'd like to see everybody work a little closer together.
Yeah,
But that's just me.
right.
I always like to see everybody work together instead of, I feel like we're all stronger together than we are apart.
Yeah, I think that comes down to the individual personalities. I mean, it's hard to check that ego at the door and try to work with somebody. You know, it's better to work together.
It is,
As a cohesive unit. Absolutely. I think
yeah, between
uh,
ego and greed.
this whole scene would be stronger. It would be lifted up higher if that would happen. You know.
Agreed.
So I think with just the way it is today, there's so much division. I think that you're seeing that on everywhere you look, whether it's in politics, whether it's in the dancing, whether it's just you see that a lot these days, which is really sad. You know,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly. But I do have faith
yeah,
that there are good people that are working hard, not necessarily for their own interests
right.
and for the betterment of the community as a whole. You know, um,
Well said.
we're seeing a lot of online stuff
Right.
happen now. I was mentioning about being able to sit and listen.
Hmm.
Right now you don't have much of a choice.
Right. Right.
To me, this event, you want to call it that,
Hmm.
is really going to show you who's into just the dance or just the social aspect of the dance
Right.
and who actually loves the music and who actually loves, you know, how many times have you sat down and appreciated one of our many DJs that are doing online sets.
You know what? Well said.
You know, there's
That's well said. That's yeah, because
you know,
you have a lot of dancers that are doing the online classes, and yeah, but you bring up a very good point that people are not talking about.
right. You know, these DJs, they're the people that help to make us move. You know, they put on the
Mm.
right song at the right time, you know, to make you feel a certain way. And
Yeah,
you look across the floor and like, hey, you know, I want to dance with that person. Or,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it brings back a memory of dancing somewhere else or an
Right,
event or,
right,
you know, so, you know, I highly recommend and suggest everyone support their local DJs. You know, it
right.
doesn't matter what, and for that matter, not just their local DJs, but this has also allowed us to open up to a world of DJs.
It's
You
true.
know,
It's
I've
true.
sat and listened and experienced DJs from Germany,
Yeah.
uh, uh, from Japan,
Hmm.
uh, from South Africa.
Right.
You know, Angus Evolution. You know, out of South Africa, who also happens to have just put on the first, what do they call that? The Mother Salsa Congress or the Motherland?
Hmm.
But you know, but the first Salsa Congress in South Africa.
Wow. Wow.
You know, you see them from all over the place, and you know, you see their different styles, and you see what songs are happening elsewhere. You know, but you know, keep it at home. You know, you've got your super DJ Robbies. You know, you've got your you know, you've got Kenny Miranda. You've got there's so many of them that are, you know, even DJ Carlos is back.
Right. 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 Right.
For those
Yeah.
that know DJ Carlos,
Right.
most of us remember Carlos before he was Carlos with a K and a Z.
It was yeah, right. It was Carlos Sabor magazine. That's where Carlos was
Shout
from.
out to Carlos.
Shout out. This is back when you had some hair. Good
Yeah,
old days.
well, back when we all had some hair.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. Shout out to Carlitos. Carlos.
Yeah, that's back when my hairline was actually like right here.
Yeah. You bring up a good point about the DJs, brother, because you have a lot of DJs that were doing socials that not just were DJing the events, they were doing their own socials, or they were hired by different promoters to DJ different events. Some of these DJs don't have other jobs. This is their living. And now with the COVID shutdown, you have a lot of these DJs that are online and playing for the community, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram. Some of them, if I'm not mistaken, have a place where you're able to donate. You know, it would be great if just the community would help some of these DJs out.
Agreed.
You know, I believe DJ Charlie had something. He was going live and he had to donate. I know this is his living.
Charlie does this almost every night.
Yeah, it's like, you know,
everybody's out there. Robbie's out there every night.
Robbie's out there. It's like Maimbe's out there playing as well.
You know
Yeah.
what? And for anybody that appreciates Mambo,
Yeah.
Mayimbe is like the man. You know, and when this is all over, you know, not only should you check him out online, but
Absolutely.
if you get a chance to actually go to an event where he's playing, you know, a lot of times as dancers, you know, we're so involved with the dance, you know, oh great, there's a song, let's just go dance.
Right.
But you know, there's a rhyme and a reason.
Right. Right.
But
Shout
these
out.
songs and how they get put on and in what order, and he's an amazing, you know, all these guys are amazing.
Yeah. Every one of these DJs that we just named are amazing. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Charlie. Shout out to all the DJs. Shout out to Maimbe. Love you, brother. You know, you're doing a lot of hard work out there. And I mean, all these DJs, support them. Go online if they're having a set. Support them. Listen to their music. If they have a donate button, donate $10, whatever you can. Just
Even
support
if
the
it's
scene.
$5.
Even if it's $5, agreed.
$5 is a drop in the bucket. Look, I understand it. If you're not working and you're
Right.
struggling to pay your bills,
Right.
totally understand.
Right.
But if you're good, help these guys out. I mean, right now you're not paying a cover charge.
Exactly.
You're not having to pay for $10+ drinks.
Right.
You're getting your bottles at Bevmo for cheap. You're doing your thing, and
like you pointed this out. You have a girlfriend that you're able to dance. It's like having your own club at home. You have Maimbe or DJ Charlie or Robbie coming to your home and playing for you free of charge. That's a big thing.
It is. Look, I consider myself extremely lucky that I have the love of a woman that enjoys the dance, enjoys the fact that we haven't killed each other in 3.5 months. And she's of the belief that I am, that salsa dancers will do it anywhere.
Right.
I'm talking the dance.
Right. Well said, brother. Well said.
And we will literally, we'll take a little, Bluetooth speaker out onto the beach over by the Venice Breakwater, and we'll dance out there, or we'll dance here at the house, or we'll, wherever, strolling down the boardwalk and one of the vendors is playing salsa, we'll stop right then and there and like, all right, we'll just throw down right here
and start dancing. Nice, dude.
That's it. And I do know that with this whole COVID thing, when we come out the other side, there are going to be a lot of very strong people doing a lot of strong shines.
Agreed.
I hope people remember how to partner dance.
Agreed. Agreed. For those that don't have a partner, like some people out there, yeah. But agreed. So, brother, I want to ask you a few questions. Dude, you've been in the dance community for a while. Like, what kind of advice can you give people that want to get into dancing? I know you've been out of the game. You haven't really competed in a while. You're still an avid dancer. You get out there. But what do you say to some people that really want to get into dancing or thinking about competing? What are some of the pitfalls, or what kind of things can you give as advice?
All right. Well, if you want to get into dancing, You're either gonna love it or you're not.
Right.
So if you're gonna get into it. Do it the right way. Learn from. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Ooh, that's a great one.
I was known for my question asking. I remember at Torrance Marriott back in like 97 or 98 or something like that. I remember seeing Ricky outside, and I was like, "Oh my God, dude, you're amazing! How'd you do this?"
Yeah.
And most of the time, again, give respect, get respect. If you show these people a little bit of respect, odds are when you ask them a question, they're going to be like, "Here, let me show you." And they're going to take their time, and because you've shown yourself as somebody wanting to learn, wanting to understand, and have respect for doing it right.
And Ricky was that guy. He would actually show you the move right then and there.
Oh, there were a lot of people that would, again, that's the way the community was back then.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot of ego that went with it.
Right.
It was, yeah, dude, come on here, let me show you how to do it, and a lot of times it's still the same. You see somebody do a cool move, some kind of pattern, give them a compliment. ask them if they have some time. Hey, would you mind showing me this piece of your pattern or how you
Right.
did that?
Right.
I know if somebody asks me, I generally am going to say, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me show you. Because my biggest thing is I want people to love it as much as I do.
Yeah. I love that saying, respect for respect.
Yeah, I mean that's what it all comes back down to. And when it comes to competition, you know, for those that want to compete, it's one of the highest respects you can pay to the dance, but it's not easy either because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of studio time. You
Mhm.
don't have a studio, you got to find a place to do it, and
Right.
it's repetition. Repetition. For those that are learning how to dance, one of the best things they can do, join a performance team.
Great
Okay.
tip. Great tip.
You're learning from, and more than likely, a top instructor. And performances is all about rehearsing. Rehearsing is about repetition. And as a new dancer, that is what you want to do. Repetition, repetition, doing it right, doing it clean,
Right.
and doing it over and over again so that you get it right. Plus it interfaces you with a group of other people that are generally at your same level. So you all can help each other out
Right.
and push each other to get better. Plus, when you go to a club, you got a little crew to hang out with, and
That's true.
you've got
Yeah.
people to dance with that you know. And
Right.
generally speaking, if you feel comfortable dancing with people you're going to see somebody else and you're going to like, all right, I got this confidence. I've been dancing on. I'm going to dance with her, or
Right.
I want to dance with him,
Right.
and you'll feel better about doing so versus being a beginner and showing up at a club and not knowing anyone.
Good point. That's
You
good
know,
point. Yeah.
you
Those
know,
those are some great tips, dude.
salsa is salsa. That's actually pretty good. Salsa is social.
Yeah.
It is a social dance, and
Right.
you really have to be social. It's hard to dance by yourself,
And it's hard to dance right now, people, because we have to practice social distancing.
right?
Oh,
Just be
so
patient. You
yeah.
know, uh,
Temporarily, this will go away.
if we all do things the right way now,
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, and if you don't think it's possible, it is because we've seen it come out of Arizona.
Yeah.
We've
Right.
seen bits and pieces out of LA,
Right.
and it's just a matter of time. I feel bad for what happened in Arizona because there was that guy got a ration of shit for it.
Yeah.
And he's still taking a ration of shit for it, and I feel bad.
He
Uh,
is.
but at the same time, you give shit, you get shit,
Right.
and with all the secret house parties that are going on, and the little socials and paid pool parties that you don't think the public knows about,
Right.
and it's only a matter of time. You show up at one of these places. Do you know where everybody else has been and
Right.
who they've been interfacing and who they've been interfacing with? There's so
Right.
many levels of layers to peel off of who people have interfaced with back down the line.
Right.
You might as well just say, what is it? Whoever you're dancing with, you're also dancing with 10 other people they've danced with,
Right. True.
and 10 other people that they've danced with.
You don't know. And that guy got a lot of shit for it. And the one, if you can, if people can see this as a good thing, at least he announced it and he let people know
Yes.
It could have been worse, and as you said, kept it a secret and just not tell anybody. So for him to just publicize that I'm sure he knew he was going to get some blowback for it. So, you
Yeah.
know,
And
yeah,
look, I'm glad nobody's died from it. You
yeah,
know, somebody I know back from the day up in San Francisco, Dave Paris.
yeah.
You know, he spent like 38 days in ICU.
Oh,
You know,
Jesus.
this guy, you know, I remember from the early LA Salsa Congress days.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, a lot of respect, and you know, he just posted a video the other day of his first dance in like 70 something days.
yeah,
Uh, and you know, he was barely, but he was in a hospital. But he spent 38 days in ICU, respirated, the whole thing.
yeah.
And you know, it can happen. You know, and you know, will you get sick? Yes. Will you get others sick? Yes.
Right.
You
It's
know,
not. It's really not about us. It's about the people that were around. Exactly what you said. We don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's people need to um, be less selfish. And back to your point, hey, you're in a wheelchair for and crutches for what 5 months.
Yeah.
Everyone can just wear a mask and practice social distancing
I
for
mean,
that
look,
long.
it's not that tough to
Yeah,
wear a mask for a short time.
exactly. Agreed.
And look, if you got a problem thinking that it's going to restrict your breathing,
Right.
then they make these portable oxygen pumps, you know, where you can wheel it around and you can have your little oxygen mask, and now you're wearing a mask and you're getting your oxygen.
Or how about those people get off their lazy ass and go run outside with the mask on, or maybe inside the home without a mask on? Improve your lung strength.
You know, quite honestly, that is
You're a runner. You're a runner.
you know, thankfully at my age, I'm still able to do what I do, and you know, I
Yeah.
attribute that to you know being healthy.
And vegan.
Hell
You're.
no.
I had to throw that in there.
Tofu shit.
I love your reaction. Hell no. No, but you're absolutely right, dude. You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely, dude.
You know, and I think it's good. You know, if you can't run, walk.
Right, right.
You know, because it all starts with a couple of steps.
That's what it starts with, dude.
You know, I you just need to get out and you know just be active. You
Be
know,
active and have a mask when you're active.
well, okay, you know, that's where the cross is because
Right.
if you're outside and you're exercising and you can keep a 6 foot distance,
Mm-hmm.
they say you don't have to wear a mask.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
You know, bring it with you. If you are going to be close to people, you know, put it on, pull it up. You know, get one of those, you know, survivor buffs. You
Right.
know, pull it up over your face. Those things are so thin you can breathe through them, but at least it's some kind of covering.
Protection. Yeah. That's true.
Well, again, it's not going to protect you from anyone else, but it will help protect them from you.
Agreed.
I think my sister posted something not too long ago. She's like, look, I could easily go outside and not wear pants, but I wear pants so that I don't have to offend you. Same thing with a mask,
Right. Right.
you know,
Well said. Well said.
that kind of thing. You know, it's like you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for other people. You know, and
Exactly.
if it'll save a life, if it just, it's not that tough. It's for a short time. You know, life isn't going to be over, regardless of whether or not they say it works or it doesn't. It couldn't hurt.
Like you said, it's not tough.
It really isn't. Look,
It's not tough, and it's a short period of time.
and it can't hurt. You know, it's not going to hurt you. It's definitely not going to hurt somebody else.
Absolutely.
But it could save somebody else.
That's the way people need to look at it.
That's it.
That's it.
Know, it's not that tough. Oh my God. I don't know about these people that are freaking out in stores and they're making me, these are my rights. It's not a law. You know, seriously. You know, it really isn't, you know, I go back to the same thing. It's not going to hurt you. It's definitely not going to hurt somebody else.
Right.
But it could save somebody else. And if I just wish we could just, that little bit right there is all that's necessary to know.
That's all you need. You can save someone else.
Yeah.
Remember that, people. All right, brother. Well, we'll conclude it with that, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, dude. I loved your story. Always wanted to hear from the beginning of when you got started, what got you into salsa, and your contribution to the community has been, it's been up there with some of the people that started this. And you, in my book, you're one of the founders. You're one of the select 30 to 40 people that were there from the beginning. So respect to you for all your hard work and bringing awareness to the community and really making the community what it is today all over the world, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Much respect.
Much respect, brother. Except for the Tito's, man. You and I are going to have a food challenge, and we're going to do that very soon. So I can't wait. That's the only thing. And we're going to do a secondary podcast, and we're going to call it Tito's Challenge.
Okay, but remember, in order to not like it, you still got to try it.
I'm going to try it for you, dude. I'm going to try it, and I'm going to bring my own tacos. We're going to have a Tito's Challenge, and we're going to do it, and we'll bring Uriel. We just won't let him go. Oh, he'll be around us. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, brother.
Roll the video.
All right, brother. Much respect, brother.
Bro,
See you soon.